So today I am joined with James, the founder of FatRank, and there's multiple different titles for this. Obviously, you've named it zero risk lead generation. Other people might call it no win, no fee. What's the correct terminology for yourself?
I suppose it varies on the lead generation service of what we offer. So some people call it no win, no fee lead generation. Quite a lot of people call it commission based lead generation or performance based lead generation. Some people call it like pay per sale lead generation. Recently, we've actually started to call it PWYW, which is pay what you want lead generation. So obviously to start this, what we try to do is we try to onboard clients for them to understand the value of our leads, pay us what you think we're worth. And obviously further down the line, if I owned a steakhouse and someone came to me and only paid £10 for the steak and we was wanting maybe £30 or £40, then we'd be like, well, we don't think we want that customer to come back into our restaurant. Same with our lead generation strategy. If we started to generate, let's say, a mortgage broker 100 leads a month and they was only willing to pay us £50 a month, let's say, then the relationship's not really going to work. It's not really going to be a win-win situation. But if they was to see the value and they was starting to say, look, we make good money out of this and we are willing to pay £1,000 a month, we might say, actually, do you know what? This is something that we can work with. We can generate you more leads. We can reinvest that and we can do a pay what you want lead generation strategy, or if they want to call it no win, no fee or commission based. But obviously we start to get quite a lot of questions up front where they want to know everything of the model. And this is what I want you to kind of run through with me now so I can provide this information through to clients.
So the first question that I have is, what's the difference between yourself and just going to a normal lead generation? So obviously you've described the pay what you want. Like how does that work? Let's say I'm an accountant. I want more leads. I'm based in Manchester. What do I need to do for us to work together?
So the main part is obviously we need to vet how good you are at converting the leads. So we want to quickly check your branding, see whether you're good enough to take our leads. And the reason why this is important is because for a normal accountancy practice, they might be saying, well, it's up to us to decide what marketing company we want to work with. Well, that in normal circumstances is the case. But because we're taking all the risk on and that the accountancy practice has got zero risk for the leads that we're generating. So they don't pay anything for SEO, PPC, social media ads. They don't pay anything for the content, the backlinks, whatever it is, the digital PR campaigns, the pay-per-click campaigns. They don't pay any of that. They don't even pay per lead. They only pay when they convert. So it's up to us to make certain that they're the right company to take our leads because they're not paying anything per lead. And that's the big difference. A normal lead generation company would charge, whether that works or doesn't work with a return on investment for that client, that accountancy practice still need to pay for those inquiries or for that SEO or for that PPC, whether it works or it doesn't. We completely de-risk it, and that's where initially when you said it's zero risk lead generation, that's exactly what we're trying to deliver for our clients.
Right, okay. So then my next question is, how are the leads sourced and also qualified as well?
So that's a great question, and it's an important question for people to know. So it completely depends on the niche. Majority of our leads are organic SEO. So we will try to rank for long tail, very specific profitable keywords that we know we can rank for within SEO, doing organic SEO. We can use pay-per-click depending on the industry. We can use meta ads, so that could be Facebook ads or Instagram ads. Could use YouTube ads or Twitter ads and stuff like that. We could do some organic social media or organic video rankings as well. It does depend on the niche. So if you came to me and you was a kitchen remodeling kind of business, I'd be looking to try to rank images and rank videos more than actually doing PPC and other things like that, because it's quite a visual type of inquiry that people are searching for. So the honest answer is it depends, but majority of leads is done via SEO or PPC.
Now, that all makes sense. My next question, this is probably going to be one of the most frequently asked questions that we get, is price and structure. So you obviously mentioned earlier in the video that it is pay what you want. Can I pay you £1 for a lead? Can I pay you £50? What's like? How do you structure that?
Well, it is legitimately pay what you want, but obviously at some point, if you're only willing to pay X amount of profit, so it's not really a per lead basis, it's not like £1 per lead. We might internally work that backwards. So if you pay us £1,000 at the end of the month and we say we've sent you 100 leads, then we approximately getting £10 per lead. And we might say that's good, we might say it's not good internally. If you are only willing to pay us a small amount of the profits, long term, I don't think it's going to work for us. Like, it's going to benefit them brilliantly, but it's not really going to benefit us. We've got to get that kind of seesaw where it's a win-win situation. They make good profit, we make a bit of profit, and we can grow it and reinvest it that it suits both parties. If the pay what you want doesn't work with both parties, the relationship and the partnership is never going to work long term. But again, all the risk lies with us to start with. We will give everyone the benefit of the doubt to start with, and hopefully long term we can get that win-win partnership going. If it doesn't, nothing ventured, nothing gained. We might have lost a little bit of money, the client wouldn't have. They would have only ever paid anything out of the winnings.
You said something just then about paying out of the winnings or paying out of the profit. Can you expand on that? Am I paying you per lead, or is it per converted job?
It's per converted job. So if they know that the leads come from James Dooley at FatRank, they know the lead comes in, and let's say they might normally charge £2,000. Then they might say, do you know what, we're going to add £100 in here at 5% or £200 at 10% on as a referral through to FatRank. So they'll add that into the job. If they win the job, they still make the profit that they want. They've added the referral in for us to pay. So it kind of de-risks it. They're adding it into the job. If they don't win the job, they don't pay us anything. And that's kind of where it's at. Some might not even add it on top of the job. Some might say, well, we make 40% net profit on the job, so we can absorb that 5%. We're happy to only make 35 instead of 40. We're happy to pay the client, us, 5%. It completely depends, and this is where on bigger jobs they might only be able to add 3% on, but on smaller jobs it could be even as high as 50% that they'll add on to us. And then this is where we've got to try and work out, will this work for both ways? If it does, we can do the no risk supply of inquiries.
What about industries? What industries do you typically work in, or is there any industries that you wouldn't work in?
So we can literally work in any industry as long as the company that we're sending the leads to are good enough to be able to make profit. If they're not making profit, then obviously we're not going to then get any kickbacks. We're not going to make any profit. So it can literally be anything from a carpet cleaner that might want to be charging £100 all the way up to a construction company building 150 houses or doing extensions on houses or whatever it is, which could be big ticket items. We win certain jobs which could be like a £2-3 million contract. And then we get others which could be a local carpet cleaning job, which could be £100. So the industry doesn't matter. We can do any industry as long as the profit to be made that we can both make a little bit of margin.
What about would you work with a new business?
We can do, and we have done before. Our issue is with new businesses is they've got a lack of branding, normally a lack of case studies, a lack of testimonials, and therefore their conversion isn't as high as working with an established company. In an ideal world, we like working with established businesses because as they're converting more for our leads, they're making more profit, we're making a bit more profit. So we can do, but I do prefer working with an age kind of branded company.
Right, okay. And then what information do you require from people that are looking to actually get into business with you? So is it their website? Is it their budgets? What are you looking out for?
So ideally, we want obviously to have a look at their website, look at the competitors' websites. So if they've got, let's say, 4 or 5 competitors, we can see what they're ranking for. And then a list of the most profitable services of what they do. And when they send us through the most profitable services, we can reverse engineer what gets search volume and then target those that get search volume. For the same service or the same product, different people could search in such different ways. So I'll give you an example. We do wet pore surfacing within schools. Now, people that are watching this might be like, well, what's wet pore surfacing? Well, people might know it as being soft, spongy surfacing. An architect might call it in situ synthetic surfacing. But then a head teacher might call it rubber tarmac, even though it's not tarmac. So for that same keyword, there's lots of different ways that that potential customer could be searching. And that's where we dig deep and we try and do our keyword research to try to find exactly what different people are kind of targeting for us to get those leads that's profitable for the customer and then hopefully add us a little bit of margin on.
What about case studies or examples?
So we've got hundreds of case studies, hundreds of examples, loads of testimonials. We'll happily send them out. Once we've approved that customer thinking, yes, they're good enough to work with us, I'm happy to send out infinite amount of case studies and testimonials. Ideally, also, we want to see their case studies and testimonials before we accept whether we're going to work with them. This is where the new business scenario comes. In an ideal world, we want them to have some sort of testimonials and case studies, because as they ask it for us, their clients might want to ask it for them, and we want to make certain that they've got good case studies and testimonials as well.
Yeah, so that has been our video on the FatRank requirements to actually work with us. If you guys do have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section. If you want to work with us, head over to fatrank.com, fill in the contact form, and someone within our team will be in touch. Thanks for watching.